Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tearing down a massive, frankly pretty wild misconception in the AI world right now. Look, the holy grail is local AI, right? Having large language models actually run, adapt, and learn right on your own device. That means total privacy, zero cloud latency, and actual offline capabilities. And honestly, you've probably heard that we can already do this, thanks to all these super efficient methods. But there's a huge catch. There's this memory illusion going on, and it's quietly holding back the entire potential of on-device AI. So we're going to unpack exactly what this illusion is and how a completely new breakthrough is finally making true local AI adaptation a reality. Let's dive in.
Now, let me ask you something that's been keeping developers up at night. If modern AI adapters are supposedly microscopic, like updating less than 1% of a model's parameters, why do they still instantly crash our devices? Think about it. We've been promised this incredibly lightweight AI that learns on the fly. But try fine-tuning one of these models on your laptop or your smartphone or some other edge device and boom, you hit an absolute brick wall of out-of-memory errors.
Just take a look at this number, 32 gigabytes. That is the peak memory requirement for a really popular adaptation method called IA3. And you know what makes this absolutely wild? IA3 updates just 0.01% of a model's parameters. That's practically zero, yet it still demands a massive 32 gigabytes of peak training memory. Just pause and think about that for a second. Most standard laptops or phones don't even have 32 gigs of RAM in total, let alone enough memory to just dedicate entirely to background AI training. This is the paradox, right here. We've literally been measuring efficiency all wrong. We just assumed fewer parameters meant less memory. But clearly, something else is hogging all the space. Which brings us to Section 1, the parameter efficiency myth.
So for a long time, the industry standard has been parameter efficient fine-tuning, or PEFT. And the whole idea here was to just freeze the massive foundational model and only tweak a tiny fraction of the weights to save space. But look at this stark contrast in the hard data. With LoRa, which is a super popular method, you update 0.45% of parameters and you need about 19 gigabytes of peak memory. Okay, fine. But look at IA3 right below it. It has a tiny fraction of LoRa's trainable parameters, literally 0.01%, yet it demands roughly 32 gigabytes. That is wild. A method with virtually zero trainable parameters demands way more memory than one with over 40 times the parameter count. So, parameter count? Yeah, it's a terrible proxy for understanding your actual memory footprint.
Moving on to Section 2, hitting the activation wall.
Alright, so if the parameter count isn't what's eating up all our memory during adaptation, what on earth is? Well, we're hitting what researchers call the activation wall. And to really visualize this, think of it like a traffic jam. When we train a model, we have static costs and dynamic costs. Those parameter weights we've been obsessing over? Entirely static. Think of them as physical concrete toll booths on a highway. Once they're built, they just take up a fixed, predictable amount of space. But the forward activations, the dynamic costs, those are the actual cars driving through the toll booths. See, during training, the system has to actually store the intermediate math for every single word passing through the network, just so it can calculate precise updates later on. And that creates a massive dynamic traffic jam of data just piling up on the highway.
And here is the core issue with that. That dynamic traffic jam, it explodes exponentially. If you look at the math and the research, activation memory scales linearly with things like batch size, sequence length, and layer depth. The problem is, standard PEFT methods leave this massive sequence length traffic jam completely untouched. They're only reducing the toll booths. And this is absolutely crucial right now because we want our AI to read massive PDFs or dense codebases or super long chat histories. But as you feed the model longer and longer documents to learn from, that sequence length variable skyrockets. It multiplies your memory requirements and instantly crashes your device, even if you're only tweaking a handful of toll booths.
So how do we fix it? That brings us to Section 3, the LARS breakthrough.
To completely bypass this activation wall, researchers from MIT and Harvard introduced a totally new paradigm. It's called LARS, which stands for Low Memory Activation Ring Subspace. Instead of obsessing over parameter counts like everyone else has been doing, LARS does something incredibly clever. It constrains the activation subspace used during training. Basically, it attacks the dynamic traffic jam directly. It figures out a way to represent the math of all those passing cars in a vastly compressed format during the forward pass. And by doing this, it fundamentally flattens the memory growth rate. It completely decouples your memory usage from how long your document sequence actually gets.
Let's actually break down how this elegant solution works. It's really just 3 steps. Step 1 is pooled feature extraction.
Instead of keeping every single word's math separate and clogging up the highway, LARS compresses the entire long sequence into a single global context vector. Think of it as a heavily summarized mathematical snapshot that's taken before the heavy gradient math even begins. Then, step 2 is low-rank subspace modulation. Here, it takes that tiny snapshot and applies nonlinear learning in a much smaller, highly efficient computational space. And finally, step 3 is residual integration. This safely maps those precise learned updates right back into the massive foundational model. Basically, it stops the memory explosion before it even has a chance to start.
Let's look at the real-world results in Section 4, proving the efficacy.
Now you might be wondering, does crushing down the sequence memory like that completely destroy the model's ability to learn complex stuff? Well, look at the data. Compared to standard LoRa, LARS slashes memory footprints by an average of 33.5% on high-end GPUs. And on standard CPUs, memory consumption drops by an astonishing 51.9%. But here is the real kicker, the absolute holy grail here. In empirical tests across complex reasoning and long context understanding datasets, LARS maintained competitive accuracy with LoRa. You are literally getting all the deep intelligence and reasoning capability, but for a mere fraction of the memory overhead.
To put that efficiency into a real-world perspective, just look at this number, 3.008 gigabytes. That is the incredibly low peak memory footprint LARS achieved while fine-tuning an AI model right on a simple $60 consumer-grade Raspberry Pi 5. Literally, a Raspberry Pi. By breaking that sequence length ceiling, LARS essentially proves that highly sophisticated, localized AI adaptation isn't just a luxury reserved for massive server farms anymore. It can happen right on your desk, fully in your control.
Which naturally leads us to Section 5, Real-World AI at Scale.
Okay, so fixing the memory bottleneck on one single edge device is amazing, for sure. But let's zoom out for a second. What happens when you need to serve thousands of customized models at the enterprise level? You know, where every single user interacting with your system wants their own perfectly tailored AI? Well, systems like NVIDIA NIM tackle this multi-adapter serving challenge brilliantly. First, they use something called unified paging. This is basically an advanced multi-tier cache that dynamically fetches active custom adapters from cheaper CPU memory straight into the ultra-fast GPU memory exactly as user requests roll in. Second, to avoid processing users one at a time, which would be a massive bottleneck, they use highly optimized batched GEM kernels. Now, GEM is just specialized complex matrix math operations. But these specialized operations allow the system to seamlessly juggle multiple custom LoRa adaptations simultaneously in one single batch. It maximizes GPU usage without crashing the whole system.
And that really brings us to a massive final thought. I mean, what becomes possible when every single edge device, your phone, your laptop, even just a basic smart home hub, can run and constantly update highly specialized, personalized large language models without melting its processor? We've finally broken through the activation memory wall. With innovations like LARS radically compressing the forward pass locally and these advanced serving infrastructures handling massive user scale in the cloud, the era of truly accessible, deeply personal, and entirely private AI is officially here.
It's a real game changer.
Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll catch you on the next one.